Good morning, everybody. I want to thank everybody for being here. This is an important initiative that we're going to be talking about this morning, and somewhat historic. It's a joint effort between the Village of Westbury and the town of Hempstead to address housing enforcement issues as it relates to the southeastern quadrant of the town, Newcastle, Westbury, Carr Place area. As many people know, there have been issues all over Long Island, and including this part of Nassau County, with housing enforcement and illegal housing. It's something that the village and the town have been concerned about for a long period of time. When the supervisor was elected, it created an opportunity for the village and the town to kind of renew a conversation about what the appropriate steps are and what the appropriate coordination and collaboration is to try to address this in this part of town. In North Hempstead, I would say that this part of town, unfortunately, probably has a bigger problem of this type of issue than other parts of the town, even though it does exist elsewhere. So we have had a very productive dialogue. I think the fact that the supervisor, we have obviously Councilwoman Russell, who's from the area, but also the supervisor has appointed Robert Troiano as Director of Operations, and he's very familiar, as is Councilwoman Russell, as is our village board, with the problems in this part of the town. And so that really allowed for a really good dialogue and for us to kind of come up with a joint approach to try to coordinate our efforts in this regard. So I'm not going to say too much more because the supervisor is going to have something to say, and then Councilwoman Russell will, and then I'll introduce the other members of my board. But you know, this is really probably one of the most important issues in this part of town. And it's not about making the community inhospitable to people. It's about making sure that our neighborhoods and their integrities are preserved and made safe for anybody who lives here. It's also about stopping unscrupulous landlords who really prey on people a lot of times who don't have other options and other housing choices, and really puts those people in a difficult and dangerous, oftentimes dangerous situation. I think even though, if you look at the situation that happened in Brooklyn this past weekend, even though that was not an illegal rental, there were a lot of illegal and dangerous conditions that existed inside that home, and 7 people died because of a fire that happened there. Legal rental housing, you know, is subject to inspections and subject to safety assurances. When you have illegal rentals, what we have found is a lot of times dangerous conditions exist that we have no opportunity to correct or have the landlords correct. So it's really about making safe living conditions and healthy living conditions, and that's what this initiative is about. I'm excited about the partnership with the town. My board is excited about the partnership with the town. I think it's the kind of thing that we in government, local government, have to do more of, collaborate with each other and not work at odds with each other. So that's my statement. I'm going to pass it on to the supervisor. Councilwoman Russell will have an opportunity to speak. Then I think we'll take questions at the end. So thank you. Supervisor?
Thank you, Mayor Cavallaro. I'm Judy Bosworth, North Hempstead Town Supervisor, and I'm so pleased to be standing here with my partners in government, Westbury Village Mayor Peter Cavallaro and Councilwoman Viviana Russell. We also have here at the town of North Hempstead with us our North Hempstead Building Commissioner, John Niewender. John is, there he is. He's hiding, but we see you. As well as our Assistant Town Attorney, Mitch Pitnick, as well, of course, Director of Operations, as the Mayor had mentioned, Robert Troiano, all who have been working so closely, and Sean Brown, our Director of Public Safety, thank you, who have all been working so closely and with such great commitment to address this issue. There's a problem here in Westbury, Newcastle, and that problem is illegal housing. And it's not just a legal problem, you know, as the Mayor had mentioned, it's a quality of life problem as well. And I always find that when we face a big problem, it's great to join forces, and that's what we're doing here today, and we're so pleased that we have such great partners in the Village of Westbury with the Mayor and the Board of Trustees. We are joining forces, we're joining resources and ideas to help halt illegal housing. That's the goal. Illegal housing is the foundation of a host of problems that threaten the health and safety of our residents. When housing and safety codes are ignored, this puts residents and neighbors at risk of fires and other hazards. There's nothing worse than a fire officer going into a house and encountering partitions that they didn't know was there, locked doors, and other obstacles that prevent them from going in and actually taking care of the residents and the home. In addition, illegal housing overburdens town and village services like snow plowing, street cleaning, garbage pickup, and also our schools. Causes a negative impact on our taxpayers. So as part of this initiative, Mayor Cavallaro, Councilwoman Russell, and I will be working together. We have worked together. We're going to continue working together to share information among our code enforcement and building inspectors. This sharing of information will assist both municipalities to successfully locate, cite, and prosecute the maximum number of violators. Often a code violating landlord owns properties both within the village borders and within the town's jurisdiction. Sharing the information that we will now share will also help to weed out and penalize those offenders. We'll be sharing best practices, educating our local realtors about their responsibilities under the law, and also urging residents to report any problematic conditions or situations that they might observe to our 311 call center. If we don't know about the problem, we can't address it. We also put together a public service announcement, and after Councilwoman Russell speaks, before we take questions, if there are any, we'd like to show you the PSA because it is something that will be shown on our North Hempstead TV channel that will also help raise consciousness about illegal housing and what we can do to work together to address it. Through our public service announcement, we're also urging renters to know what their rights are. If anyone has a question, they can contact our Town 311 call center for more information and to also let us know about a problem that they see emerging. So we are counting on you, our residents, to help us fight illegal housing by reporting any problematic situations or conditions that you might observe. I believe that by working together, we can assure that everyone has a safe, healthy, and legal place to live, and we can protect our neighborhoods from the negative effects illegal housing brings. Thank you. And I have the great pleasure of introducing our Councilwoman, Viviana Russell.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. So we are charged with the sensitivities that are created in our communities by illegal housing. The Westbury area in itself has a serious issue with illegal housing. As Mayor Cavallaro mentioned and Supervisor Bosworth mentioned, effects of legal housing are detrimental to the resources in our community. Not only does it overcrowd our schools, it makes our roads unpassable, and it makes unsafe living conditions for everyone that lives in the community. The garbage collection alone, in communities of New Hyde Park, Garden City Park, and Floral Park areas, collectively each year, those homes collect about 1.2 tons of garbage per home. In the Newcastle area alone, it is 2.4 tons per home per year, which is double or 100% of those communities collectively. So what does that mean for our community? It means that a community is now even more overburdened, not only by the amount of cars on the street, not only by the increased ratio of students to teachers in the classroom, but the cost of providing these services continues to grow, and the culprits that cause these burdens do not contribute towards that cost, and we all suffer. It's simple. If the infrastructure of a community that is set to handle the capacity of a single-family home is now being abused, the infrastructure will fail, and that's why this joint initiative is so important. With us working together with our building departments, our code enforcement, our town attorney's office, working together to help quell these issues that we have in our community will make a huge impact. It's a life or death situation. When overcrowding becomes a condition and there's a fire, as Supervisor mentioned, and a home is built to certain architectural plans that we have on file with our building department and are at the disposal of a fire department who goes into a burning home, and that fireman could be your family member, a relative, or a friend, and they're going in to save someone. And when they buck upon a wall that is there illegally, and then they have to spend a few minutes more, a few seconds more trying to navigate their way around that wall, that could make the difference in someone's life or death. So this is a serious issue. It's an unsafe issue, it's a health issue, it's a quality of life issue, and it's an issue that we jointly will continue to address. Recently, the town and the village has worked together on other initiatives that have proven to be successful, and we believe this initiative will be successful as well. Thank you.
Thank you. So I just wanted to add, one thing, that we're viewing this as a pilot. There are other areas in the town that also have illegal housing issues. We're doing this, working closely with the mayor so that we can see what we're doing that is working and see if there are other things that we can do. But the idea is this will serve as a pilot that will hopefully put forward in other areas in the town that are also having this issue. And I think that one of the things that we're stressing is the fact that we want to make sure that the landlords are held accountable and that our realtors understand what their responsibilities are. We will be having seminars for the realtors to educate them as to what their responsibilities are. We'll be working with the Long Island Real Estate
Board of Realtors.
Board of Realtors to help us develop these seminars.
Before we see the PSA, I want to introduce the people from the village who are here with me, and it's most of the members of my board: Deputy Mayor Joan Bowes, Trustee Bill Wise, Trustee Steve Cordy, Superintendent of Buildings Bill Mello. I got my village clerk Ted Block and a village attorney Anna Visk. Right? I always pronounce. She's still new, so I'm always pronouncing her name wrong. Sorry about that. So we have our team here, and Gail also, which I didn't see. Gail's hiding behind the camera. So, and Gail Slotnick is also here as well. So we have our whole team here. We have our building inspectors who are out this morning doing a housing sweep, and some of them are in the building, some of them are still outside the building. But we are proud of the PSA, which was going to be shown on the governmental channels. So why don't we look at that now?
Illegal housing is an issue that affects everyone. Hello, I'm North Hempstead Town Supervisor Judy Bosworth.
I'm North Hempstead Councilwoman Viviana Russell.
And I'm Village of Westbury Mayor Peter Cavallaro.
Housing and safety codes exist for a reason: to keep people safe. When these codes are ignored, it can cause unsafe living conditions that put tenants and neighborhoods at risk.
Illegal housing overburdens town and village services like snow plowing, street cleaning, and garbage pickup, and our schools, causing a negative impact on our taxpayers.
That's why the town of North Hempstead and the Village of Westbury have joined to launch a joint initiative called Halt Illegal Housing. This initiative will coordinate code enforcement efforts between the village and the town.
Our cooperation will include sharing information regarding landlords who engage in illegal housing activity and holding educational sessions for local realtors and landlords to ensure that those renting apartments in the Westbury area know their responsibilities and follow the law.
In addition, we'll be raising awareness among renters so they know what questions to ask a realtor or landlord before renting a property.
We're also counting on you, our residents, to help us fight illegal housing by reporting any problematic conditions or situations you might observe. By working together, we can ensure that everyone has a safe, healthy, and legal place to live, and we can protect our neighborhoods from the negative effects illegal housing brings.
Together, with your help, we can halt illegal housing. Thank you. Keep you informed with updates. We're starting this. We're optimistic that we will make a difference. The problem didn't occur overnight. It's not going to be solved overnight, but at least this is, I believe we're taking the right steps to start addressing it.